Hey, this is Cam from C&K Archery. Pretty excited about it. We're finally getting to some of the last bows that launched this year, which is Bowtech. They have the new series, 2 different bows called the Alliance. These are some pretty awesome bows, but to caveat that, I've been a huge Bowtech fan for the past few years. Last year I shot the Virtue. Before that I was shooting the SS34. And today we're going to look at the Alliance, but also we're going to kind of look at how it compares to what I feel is one of my favorite bows in the SS34. So we're looking at 2 different models. Here on the tag we have the Alliance 30, which is 30.5 inches axle to axle. And we have a Alliance 33, which is 33 inches axle to axle. We're looking at, on the 30, 338 feet per second, and on the 33, we've got 334 feet per second. We're really going to be looking at the 33 and looking at it in comfort mode, which historically I've found is anywhere from about 8 to 10 feet per second slower than the performance mod. I'm personally a fan of shooting these bows in the comfort setting, even though if you're shorter than a 28-inch axle or draw length, I really do like moving that to performance just to pick up that extra feet per second. One of the biggest things that they've done with this bow is really lighten it up. If you kind of really take a look, and I'll throw in some B-roll here, they really lightened up their limb pocket. I think between that and the cutouts, and then if you look at the deadlock system, they've really taken away some weight in those different places. The bow physically feels light in hand, and we'll talk about it a little bit more, but I noticed from last year the grip has kind of felt a little bit wider from front to back. Not in the actual width, but from front to back. Some people that have shot that last year and this year, specifically in the Virtue, either absolutely love it or hate it. I'm someone who really liked the previous iteration of their grip, which is why I still shoot the SS34 as my target bow right now. And for me, I really do like the fit and the adjustability of this grip. But I have had some longtime Bowtech shooters shoot the Virtue last year and tested this bow, and they really do find that you're either going to love or hate it. We're going to get into shooting this, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it. Just come along and we'll talk about it. All right, so we have the new Bowtech Alliance 33. I've got it 30 inches and I've got it 70 pounds. I've got the X Impact that I have perfectly set at 350 grains. We're going to do a little speed test. All right, looking 324. Again, we're setting the comfort position instead of the performance. And the reason I like doing that is most people will be shooting in comfort. Like I said, if you do have a shorter draw length, I think that's where the performance comes in. All right, 324, we'll do one more. .322, so 323 average. All right, so just as a comparative, one of my all-time favorite bows has been the Bowtech SS34. This one is set up a little bit differently. Has aftermarket strings on it, has a drop-away rest, but is set at the same draw length, same arrows, and it is set at 70 pounds, 30 inches. So just for a comparable, it's also in a comfort setting. .322, 316. 317. .317. So we'll give that an average of 317. All right, so you may be asking, why am I comparing a 3-year-old bow to the brand new Bowtech Alliance? Well, there's a couple reasons. One, I like comparing previous iterations of bows, especially ones that I really like, because I get to see where the bow brand is actually going and what differences they've made. For me, the physical weight of this bow is pretty substantial in comparison. It's 1 inch shorter, but the dynamic differences that they actually made into the way this bow is lighter, specifically in its limb pocket and some of the small things that they've done, actually make a pretty dramatic feel difference. The bow itself has a really nice feel, and it really wants to hold up and down, left or right. It doesn't want to like bounce or jump forward. I don't feel like I have to like add or subtract cant to the bow, which ultimately means I don't think I have to run as much stabilizer weight on this bow. Again, being a Bowtech fan, you kind of understand a little bit about how that cam cycle is going to feel. But similar to like a PSE, it really locks into the back wall. And even the new Hoyts this year really lock into that back wall, don't want to jump off the back, even without changing its let off. This bow has a really hard lock into the back. It really feels like it wants to sit into your back wall. Comparatively though, the cycle is a little bit stiffer. And if you kind of look at it, you know, even in comfort mode, this bow was about 10 feet per second faster than the SS34. It is a really smooth bow, but not quite as smooth as the 34 is, which is probably one of the main reasons that I continue to shoot the SS34 either in a hunting scenario and now more as my primary target bow. If you're running this at a draw length that's shorter than 28 inches, I'd highly recommend picking up that extra speed by switching to performance. On average, I've never seen it pick up less than 5 feet per second, and I've seen it as much as 11 feet per second. For me, the bow feels great and has a really great aesthetic that almost doesn't look like previous iterations of Bowtechs. I would tell you that this is a bow you should definitely try out. And I might be a little biased because I'm a huge Bowtech fan. We're gonna grab a couple arrows and I'm gonna shoot my 34 for you. All right, just so you can watch the difference in how I draw this bow. And again, when it comes to draw cycle, after about 100 arrows, you're not even gonna remember the other bow that you were shooting. However, I will show you and it'll kind of make sense that this bow just kind of draws smoother. You can just see it. Again, I really can't tell you the difference in vibration on this because I have all the bells and whistles attached to this bow and I have it really dialed for the way I like to shoot. But what I would tell you is there isn't a dramatic difference. Once I started loading up a few of the components I would probably run on the Alliance, I feel like even though it's substantially lighter, I wouldn't feel too much difference. Even when I over grip the Alliance, I don't get a lot of vibration. Like for instance, the Sicario, which I think is a phenomenal shooting bow, especially for the speed that it creates, it does have a lot of felt vibration. Whereas anything pretty much from the Bowtech line over the past few years, the felt vibration has been pretty minimal. Even on their lighter bows, like the Virtue, which is their magnesium alloy riser, I really feel like they really knocked out this bow out of the park because it has a lot of the same DNA that the SS34 does, and then adding a little extra. Some of the things that people may not like if you've been shooting Bowtech for a while is the grip changed. I mentioned it earlier. It is a different feel. I would come out and see if that grip fits well in your hand. And past that, lightening up of their deadlock technology, changing their limb pocket, and overall just lightening that bow, I think they pretty much knocked this bow out of the park. Is it the fastest bow on the market? No. But I'm not shooting an SS34 because of its speed. I shoot it because it holds. I can shoot this bow accurately within a pie plate at 150 yards. Very few bows I've shot, I can accurately shoot that distance. That's why I continue to shoot this and why I think it's a great platform for my target bow now. The Alliance, a little bit shorter axle to axle, but I get the same feeling where and even better, I feel like the size of the limbs just kind of want that bow to sit in my hand better. And that ultimately comfort and sitting in your hand with less torque equals long range accuracy. So that's kind of what I think about this bow. One of the other things that I really love about the Alliance is the fact that it goes out to 32 inches of draw length. You don't have to have special mods, an extra long draw cam. You don't have to have any of this. You can come into a bow shop if you're a bigger guy and actually get a bow that fits you. So that's kind of what I got for you right now on the Bowtech Alliance. If you have questions, give us a call up here at the shop or visit our website, cnkarchery.com.